Hello friends, welcome back to another video. Did you just see all the dust that just came out of my hands? Ignore how pale I look. Is it time to fake tan? It's that time of the year, I think. I am back with an interesting video that I have never done before. I was looking at my bookshelf. It's the end of the year, right? We're all kind of looking at what we've read. I was about to pull everything off the shelf that I have read in order to do my 2024 wrap up, which will be my next video. But something that I was looking at was how many, I don't really know how many books that I've not read yet. I feel like I have actually read quite a bit that's on here. I just thought it might be interesting to pull off everything that I haven't read, and then just have a stack of everything that is unread. Not to do like a book buying ban or like read everything that I haven't read before I buy new stuff, but y'all know what I'm saying. The thing that kind of spurred this on is, I'll just give you a little sneak peek of one of my favorites of 2024 was The World Cannot Give by Tara Isabella Burton. It's a dark academic book. I will talk about it more in my 2024 wrap up. Yeah, 2022. So it's been sitting on my shelf for 2 years. It just got hidden and buried, and it was like so good. It was one of my favorites of 2024. So I want to see if there's anything still hiding back there. Let's go through all the books and find out what might be hiding. Okay, I'm back with a bold lip because wow. But it just makes me look more pale. Whatever. The first one I wanted to talk about is one that I started last night because I kind of started looking through everything last night. This is Word Slut by Amanda Montell. I have the jacket. I love this baby pink though, more than the yellow. Anyway, this is a feminist guide to taking back the English language. I loved Cultish so much. That was actually her second book, I think. And this one, Word Slut, is her first. So she's like a linguist. This specifically is about sociolinguistics. It's high time I got around to her other books, and I blitzed through 110 pages last night because it was so good. I literally was like on the treadmill, and then I like just stopped for a shower and then went right back into it on the couch. Like I really couldn't put it down. So I'm already almost halfway through. There's obviously a lot of history around like swear words that we use for females. That's kind of like the whole point of what she's writing, but she writes the history in such a way that is actually really entertaining, and it's not dry at all. And every now and then she'll sprinkle in a little bit of like an anecdote from her life. Anyway, so this was the first one that I knew I wanted to read. Then I also have to admit that I did just go to Barnes & Noble on my lunch break earlier today. I was shopping for somebody else, but I saw this, and this has actually been on my Pinterest board, on my TBR, in the fiction board for years now, since it came out. This is from 2022. Anyway, this is Carnality by Lena Wolf. I am freaking obsessed with this cover. It says, awarded a 3-month stipend to travel and work, a Swedish writer flies to Madrid, where in a bar she meets a man with an extraordinary story to tell. In exchange for somewhere to sleep and to hide out for a few days, he's willing to tell her the whole astonishing tale. What follows is an account of fantastic proportions and ingredients, the existence of a shadowy internet TV show with a certain morality clause, a threat to the storyteller's life, a diabolical nun, and the story of a girl with a missing left thumb. The tale is also the precursor to a meeting between the writer and the infernal miracle worker, Lucia. A meeting that ultimately forces the writer to make a fateful decision about her own inner essence. It is a novel about the universal need for spirituality and truth, not to mention a good story set in the seemingly unspiritual, grimy underbelly of society. So it's kind of, I like the word grimy. Anything that's described as like grimy or gritty, I want to read it. But it's kind of like, but I also love dichotomies in books. So like the grimy underbelly of society, but then it's about spirituality, which we sort of, hold up as this like lofty ideal. So it sounds good. It sounds like one that I want to get to soon, probably around the first of the year. So maybe January, February, we'll see about that. So anyway, I did have to mention this one because I did just buy it. Another unread, Leigh Bardugo's The Familiar. You guys let me know if you've read it and what you thought. I loved Ninth House. I haven't read any of her young adult, so I have high hopes for this one. I thrifted it. It's gorgeous. It has black sprayed edges. It's just, the inside is gorgeous. It takes place during the Spanish Golden Age is when it takes place. I feel like everybody knows about this one because this was even on, I want to say like Goodreads top books of 2024. So I won't say too much about this one, but you guys let me know if you thought it was good if I should prioritize it, because it was gonna be an October read and I missed it because I had so many other things I wanted to get to this past October. So maybe I'll wait until next October. I don't know. One that I'm currently reading that's been sitting on my shelf for a while is Heinlein's Stranger in a Strange Land. I have a few issues with it, honestly, because it was written in the 60s. And we all know how the treatment of women in literature in like the 50s and 60s was not great. It's quite long. It's been, I'm not gonna say it's been a slog. I'm only like 80 pages in. So I don't wanna say that I'm not enjoying it, but I'm not like 100% gripped. Anyway, I'm hoping it's not gonna be a DNF. I hope to finish it before the end of the year. So this is what I'm working through. In this little stack, I did recently haul these two. Babel and Curious Tides. I am so excited for this one because everybody's hyped it up so much, and I don't think it's one that's overhyped. I feel like because of what it's about, and R.F. Kuang's writing, from what I've heard, it's actually gonna be like worth my time for sure, even though it's like 600 something pages. Oh my gosh, look at this dust. I don't know. These have been sitting on my shelf for so long. They're just like literally collecting dust. Anyway, she wrote The Poppy War, which I do want to read because I've heard good things about the Poppy War trilogy right here. But this one has to do with language as well and magic. It's set in the 1800s in London. So it sounds really good. So this is one I want to get to in the new year for sure. And then Curious Tides was one I picked up completely on a whim. I don't really know why I bought it. I normally don't do that. It just sounded interesting. I haven't heard much about this one, so you guys, if you've read this one, let me know. It says, after a treacherous night at the Dovermere Sea Caves leaves her with a strange dark magic and survivor's guilt, lunar mage and prestigious Aldrin student Emery believes her secrets drowned with her classmates until their bodies start washing ashore. That part was really cool. The lunar mage part, I'm really interested in that. It's also just really gorgeous inside. I mean, I'm a sucker for like any kind of like foil or shiny on the cover, but then there's also like really pretty images inside. It says, with the help of reclusive student Baz Brisden, not sure, Emery must seek the truth behind the drownings and the cult-like secret society she's convinced her classmates were involved in before she's next. The blurb goes on. It's quite long, so I'll leave it there for you to pause if you want to read. But yes, the lunar mage part, and then also the cult, secret society, dead students washing up on shore, all of that sounds fascinating. This is another one I'm excited to get to soon. And then a friend of ours gifted this to my boyfriend, ironically, unironically, not totally sure. It's so old. It came out in the 80s. It's not a book that I would ever normally pick up on my own. But what tends to happen is when people gift me books, or they give me books to like try to sell or donate, a lot of times I just end up reading them because they're nearby, and I think that's gonna happen with this one too. It could be interesting. I read J.D. Vance's memoir question mark. It's kind of like a socio-political memoir, Hillbilly Elegy. This is very different from what I gather. Maybe it's like memoir / business. I don't know. It's here, so I'm probably gonna end up reading it. Then a few more that have been sitting on the top row that, again, I leave out so that I read them, but then I feel like it's taking me a long time to get to them. Ascension is the next one. I thrifted this after getting to be on a call with the author, Nicholas Binge. This is pitched as like for fans of the science fiction horror guy. Fans of him will probably like this, and I got to hear him talk about his writing process. This one came out last year in 2023, and then I think he has one coming out in 2025 too. I think I remember him saying that. And I do love sci-fi horror, so this one sounds interesting. Then I have the Spell Shop. I thrifted this not that long ago. Really pretty purple sprayed edges. I feel like this is one that I've heard a lot of people talking about. Again, I think this is one that Goodreads has on their like best of 2024. It's cozy fantasy, as you can tell from the cover. If I get snowed in or something this winter, it'll be nice to have something cozy to read. So I'm saving this one for that. Then Badass Badass Astronauts? Bad Astronauts by Grady Hendrix. This is one of his little novellas, so I could probably get through this in one sitting if I wanted to. I am working my way through all of his stuff. He has one book coming out in January. School for Wayward Girls, something like that. Witchcraft for Wayward Witches? Whatever. It's coming out in January. I'm excited for that one. And so I'm trying to work my way through all of his stuff so that I can make a video all about him, just like I did for Chuck Palahniuk. I'm gonna try to read all of Grady Hendrix's stuff without DNFing anything. This is one that I need to read for that. It's been sitting on my shelf for a while. Then kind of a very different style of book. The Bear is My Father, Wisdom of a Muskogee Creek Caretaker of Sacred Ways. I don't even remember where I found out about this book. It may have been like something Pinterest recommended to me. I'm a member of the same tribe, which is why I picked this one up. But because it's something I didn't like grow up learning about, I'm trying to educate myself now. This one says, it's a legacy book that shares the profound teachings of a renowned multi-tribal Muskogee Creek medicine man, Bearheart, one of the last traditionally trained medicine persons of the Muskogee Creek Nation. So it's kind of like, that was another reason why I wanted to get this one, is because it's like there's a lot of knowledge that is going to end up just not being passed on, I think, and lost. A lot of traditional Native American knowledge, which is very sad, but why books like this are really important. It says, while it's a tradition among Native American medicine that a healer takes on an apprentice to learn their ways and pass them on, Bearheart's medicine was so varied it couldn't simply be passed along to one person. Thus, over the course of his life of service, Bearheart shared pieces of his wisdom with different people depending on who could use it. So it's about like alternative healing methods, using spirituality to unify instead of divide. I need to make some sort of like concerted effort where I like read one Native American book a month or something. I think that could be really cool. And then this one, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this. I don't read a lot of like music books, but Aurora is one of my favorite artists ever of all time. I constantly have her stuff on repeat on Spotify, like literally all the time. This is her journal that she wrote when she was writing her newest album, What Happened to the Heart. So it is literally like a scan of her notebook, of her journal, mixed in with photography. I've never read one before. I almost picked up Florence Welch's one time because the cover is so gorgeous, and it's that same kind of like canvasy material. So if I end up liking this style of book, then maybe I'll pick that one up too, because I do love Florence and the Machine. I am so excited to dive in and see what kind of thoughts she has in here. There's like sketches and lyrics and all sorts of fun things. So if you do not know who she is somehow, or do not listen to her, she's a Norwegian musician. One of the ways that people know her is because Billie Eilish has referenced her as a source of inspiration, like why she got into music at all. I believe for her song Runaway, which was like her first big hit. So anyway, very excited to get into this very like personal feeling journal. Okay, now two of these really gorgeous penguin modern classic books. I have like a small little selection that I would like to grow over time. Two of them I have not read yet for my Reading Around the World challenge. So this one is first published in Romania in 1989. So this is Nostalgia by Mircea Cartarescu. Apologies if I'm butchering that name, because I probably am. I'm like 38 books in, I think, something like that. I need to actually get the ball rolling with that challenge a little bit quicker, because I realized in 2024 I've only read 15 books so far, and obviously there's a lot of countries. I need to kind of like get moving a little bit faster. So that's Nostalgia. This is one, I don't know if I'm gonna love this because it's very dreamlike, supposedly. It says blending reality and symbolism, time and myth. This is a cult masterwork from Romania's most celebrated writer. That was another reason why I wanted to get something from him, is because he's a really celebrated author. It's supposed to be kind of like fever dream-like, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna love it, but I'll give it a try. And then for Russia, this is The Blizzard by Vladimir Sorokin. Vladimir Sorokin. I want to wait until it's snowing for this one. I'm very much into like the mood and the vibe of a book. Like I'm definitely a mood reader nowadays. This one is a doctor sets out on an urgent journey in the middle of a snowstorm. The village of Dolgoye has fallen sick with a horrific virus and only he has the vaccine. Yet soon his trip turns into a nightmarish odyssey involving strange beasts, pint-sized humans, apparitions, narcotics, and terrible dangers. Brilliantly riffing on the world of Tolstoy and Chekhov, to create a fantastical post-apocalyptic Russian landscape, the blizzard shows humankind to be hopelessly, endlessly trapped. Okay, so it sounds a little dark. I don't know that I'm gonna have the literary references for Tolstoy and Chekhov to really fully appreciate this one, but it's quite short and hopefully I can appreciate it regardless of having not a lot of background knowledge of Tolstoy and Chekhov. Okay, one more for my Reading Around the World challenge. I literally put India on a sticky note. Gandhi. This book is what I am reading for India. An autobiography, the story of my experiments with truth. So she's a hefty little chunk. She's about 500 pages. The words are fairly large though, so that's good. I don't really know much about Gandhi, to be completely honest. I do like mixing up nonfiction every now and then. It's such a palate cleanser when all you read is like fiction. It's really nice. I don't know. There's something about nonfiction. Like right now with Word Slut, it just feels like I can just blitz through nonfiction so fast sometimes when all I've been reading is fiction. So anyway, that one is for India, for my Reading Around the World challenge. Okay, continuing with our audit. I found 5 more in the back. This is an Ottessa Moshevig I bought because I loved my year of rest and relaxation. This one I feel like sounds quite different. Homesick for Another World. This one, it says there's something eerily unsettling about these stories, almost dangerous, while also being delightful and funny. Okay, so it's a short story collection. The characters in this highly anticipated debut collection are unsteady on their feet. They yearn for connection and betterment, but are often tripped up by their own baser impulses and existential insecurities. Yet in Moshevig's unique voice, the grotesque and the outrageous are infused with tenderness and compassion. The flesh is weak, the timber is crooked, and people are cruel to each other and stupid and hurtful, but beauty comes from strange sources, and the dark energy surging through these stories is powerfully invigorating. Okay, I did not even remember that this was a short story collection. I'm pretty sure I thrifted it again because I liked her novel so much. I love the grotesque though. Dark energy. It sounds interesting, but I wish it had said like what some of them are about. I think if the blurb had been a little bit more specific, then maybe I would be a little bit more excited for this one. I don't want to get rid of it. I still want to keep it, but I just don't really know what any of them are about. So if you read this one, let me know. Then we have a book I literally bought because I was in New Mexico. It's called Getting New Mexico by Rena St. Clair. This is about like an older drunk New Yorker. He's 52, he's destroyed his life, he's broke. Basically he's just like trying to get his life together, and then he meets Clementine, and so she's like trying to get him back on track, I guess. I don't know. It sounds sort of interesting. It was definitely an impulse buy when I was at a used bookstore in New Mexico. It was just like an of the moment when in Rome. Oh, it's about New Mexico, I'm in New Mexico. It looks to be self-published maybe. I'll keep it. I don't know that I'll ever get around to it. It is not high on my list. Then another deserty one, High Tide in Tucson by Barbara Kingsolver. She is obviously just insanely prolific. She's been around for a long, long time. I believe this is essays, so I'll put that on the screen. I haven't read her before. I've read none of her fiction. This is 25 different essays, which I didn't even realize. It was an impulse buy. I don't even remember where I bought this. Maybe this was in, do you know what? I think I was in New Mexico the first time I was in New Mexico. Not when I bought this one. I picked it out of a little free library, I think, because it was deserty themed. And so I thought that would be a good one to choose. This is The 5 Wounds by Kirsten Valdez Quaid. Not sure. Yes, this one takes place in New Mexico as well. It's Holy Week in the small town of Las Peñas, New Mexico, when 15-year-old Angel shows up pregnant on her father's doorstep and disrupts his plans for personal redemption. Over the baby's first year, 5 generations of the Padilla family converge. It's a propulsive, immersive story that reckons wisely with the real cost of redemption. So it's like a family drama, family saga, which is probably why I haven't picked it up. It's about 400 pages. And typically I like something that's a little bit more, I don't know, something that has like some other kind of element happening with it. I think I bought it literally just because it takes place in New Mexico. And then another one that's sort of Native American, New Mexico themed, I think, Love Medicine by Louise Erdrich. This has been around for a long time. This is not a new book. And this is also a thrifted copy, I think. Again, I believe it's a family saga. It says it's her first novel in her Native American series. It tells the story of two families. Written in her uniquely poetic, powerful style, it's a multi-generational portrait of strong men and women caught in an unforgettable drama of anger, desire, and the healing power that is love medicine. Which I think is probably why these tend to kind of just sit on my shelf, because it's not my like favorite thing. Sometimes just like regular human drama is not enough to draw me to a book, so I think that's probably why these have just been kind of sitting. But I want to read Erdrich because I don't think I've ever read anything by her before. If I have, it was something really short. I feel like I should keep it. I don't know. Something's telling me to keep it. It's not high on my list though. Okay, I do want to get to this soon. This is Keanu Reeves' little duet that he did with China Miéville, who I haven't read but is a really prolific science fiction author. This one is based in the world of the Berserker comics, if I'm not mistaken. I'll put the blurb right here. I'm probably gonna have no idea what's going on. I've heard that it's quite violent, which makes sense because of those comics. I don't even know what to make of this one, other than the main character is like thousands of years old, and there's also a pig that's like 10,000 years old or something, and he like wants to die because he's so old. So there's like a US Black Ops group that's promised to like help him die, but he has to help them with something in return. I don't know. It sounds really interesting. And honestly, if you put Keanu Reeves' name on something, I'm probably gonna buy it. So you guys let me know if you've read this one. I'm like a little hesitant, but I'm more curious than I am concerned. Then I'm really excited for this one. Julia Armfield has become an auto-buy author for me. This is Private Rights. I don't even think I looked up the synopsis and read the blurb before I put it in my cart. I saw it on Amazon, they recommended it to me, and they knew what they were doing, and I just immediately bought it. So it's just been sitting here since it came out in paperback. I think it just came out last year. Couldn't even tell you what it's about. Sisters in a glass house. I don't know and I don't care. I loved Our Wives Under the Sea so much, and Salt Slow. So like I said, she's become an auto-buy author. Also, this cover is so good. Again, another one that I'm very excited to get to in 2025. Have you guys read Valley of the Dolls? I don't know what to make of this. It might be one of those ones that because it came out in the 60s, sometimes there's a little bit of a disconnect with my very contemporary brain. I think it's just like drama, New York City, socialite, Gossip Girl type. I don't even know. I don't remember. I specifically bought this for a reason. There was something about it that made me buy it, and I cannot for the life of me remember that reason. I feel like I need to keep it, and maybe it will just randomly call to me one of these days. And then I think the last one is Reinventing the Enemy's Language. This is one that it's contemporary Native American women's writing, like poetry. It is not one that Joy Harjo has anything in. I think she's just the editor. And I'll put, ooh, it's like a little bit wounded. The title sounded really interesting, and I love that it's all like women's writing. And the enemy's language is English, I'm pretty sure. It's like, cause it's like the colonizer's language. So anyway, this is an anthology of stories and maybe poems. It just says writings, so I guess it's a lot of. Oh my goodness, I think that is everything. So if you guys stuck with me to the end, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.